Have you ever really truly looked at a streetlight? Yeah, it's easy to just walk by and see a simple pole with a light on it. But what if I told you that glowing fixture is packed with a ton of physics, clever engineering, and some seriously cool digital design? It's all there to solve one huge problem: how to safely light up our world after the sun clocks out.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with why lighting a street is so tricky in the first place. Then we'll dive into how LEDs completely changed the game. After that, we'll peek into the digital tools designers use, see how they get that perfect balance of light, and finish up by looking at how the humble streetlight is getting a major IQ boost. So first things first, the fundamental challenge. Getting street lighting right isn't just about cranking up the brightness. In fact, bad lighting isn't just kind of dim or annoying. It can be downright dangerous. So what makes it so tough? I mean, shouldn't more light just be better? Well, if you ask a lighting engineer, they'll tell you it's not that simple at all. The real enemy isn't the darkness itself. It's actually unevenness. See, the number one goal for any lighting designer is something called uniformity. It's just a fancy word for how evenly the light is spread out. When you get that wrong, you create this really hazardous zebra effect. That jarring pattern of bright and dark stripes across the road? And this zebra effect, it is a much bigger deal than it sounds. When you're driving through it, your eyes are forced to make thousands of tiny, rapid adjustments. It's exhausting. Some engineers even warn it can put you in a sort of highway hypnosis. Bottom line, it makes driving less comfortable and, most importantly, a lot less safe. For decades, trying to solve that uniformity puzzle with old tech was a huge headache. But then, a solution came along that completely flipped the script: the LED. And the difference is just staggering. Just look at this breakdown for lighting the exact same piece of road. An LED system needs only 70 watts. Compare that to 180 for high-pressure sodium, or a crazy 300 watts for old-school mercury vapor. It lasts over 4 times longer, and it shows colors way more accurately, which helps you see things better. Oh, and bonus, no hazardous mercury. It's a win-win-win.
So what does that efficiency mean in the real world? It means this. On project after project, cities that make the switch to LEDs see their energy use drop by 50 to 70%. That is a massive dent in electricity bills and a huge win for the city's carbon footprint. But here's the thing, you don't get these incredible results just by screwing in a new bulb. Modern street lighting is a precise science. Designers are using some powerful software to perfectly balance a few key ingredients to get it just right. When a designer starts planning a new road, they're basically playing with these 4 main levers: how tall the poles are, how far apart you space them, how powerful the light fixture or luminaire is, and this one is super important, the actual shape of the light it throws on the ground. And that last one, light distribution, is a really big deal. You might think that all streetlights just cast a simple circle of light down below, but nope. The shape of that light is a very deliberate, engineered choice, and it's perfectly tailored to the road it's on. Engineers have actually standardized 5 main types to be super specific. For instance, type 1 is this long, skinny beam of light, perfect for a narrow path. Type 3 is the real workhorse for most normal roads, pushing light out across all the lanes. And type 5 is this big, round splash of light, great for the middle of a huge intersection. Picking the right one is absolutely key for being efficient. So how does a designer juggle all these different pieces? Let's take a quick look inside the digital design process to see how they balance everything to get that perfect, even glow. It pretty much boils down to a 3-step dance. First, the designer builds a virtual 3D model of the road, plugging in every lane, sidewalk, you name it. Second, they start placing the virtual streetlights, picking the height, spacing, and the fixture type. And then, the moment of truth, they hit calculate and let the software run a full simulation of how the light will perform. But, in the real world, it's a constant balancing act. As lighting designer Nelca Roco explains, there's always this push and pull. The contractor wants to save money up front, so they'll ask for lower poles and less power. But the consultant, their job is to get the absolute best, most efficient performance. And the designer? They're stuck right in the middle, trying to make everyone happy. In the end, though, the software has the final say. It spits out a summary report, and what every designer is hoping to see are these beautiful green check marks. Those checks confirm that all the critical numbers like brightness levels and that all-important uniformity meet the strict international safety rules. If it's all green, the design is good to go.
Okay, so we've gone from a basic pole to a digitally engineered, super efficient lighting system. But the story doesn't end there. Not even close. Now, the streetlight is getting smart, and it's becoming a major player in the connected city of the future. I mean, just look at this timeline. For more than a century, the changes were pretty slow and steady, gas to incandescent to vapor lamps. But this jump we're seeing now, from LED to the smart pole, that's not just an upgrade, it's a full-blown revolution. So what actually makes a streetlight smart? Well, it's the ability to think. It can automatically dim itself late at night when no one's around, saving even more energy. It can use motion sensors to brighten up just as a car or a person approaches. And the real game changer? It's connected. Cities can now monitor their entire lighting grid from a single computer. They even have special sockets to add other sensors for things like air quality, traffic flow, or even public Wi-Fi. And this all leads to one final really powerful idea. The humble streetlight is transforming. It's going from being a simple utility to a multi-talented digital hub. It's not just about fighting off the darkness anymore. It's becoming the nervous system for a smarter, more responsive city. So the question we're left with isn't just how we light our streets, but what else can our lights do for us?